Hello and welcome, dear Total War Arena fans, to our Wargaming GC live studio. Gamescom 2017 Day 2 is rolling. I'm Zamtrios from Wargaming Europe, and joining me here today are our one and only Creative Assembly developers. We got Jan van der Kraven, lead metagame designer, and Stefan Aludis, our development manager. Thank you very much. I already do know that Gamescom is treating you well, Jan. How about you, Stefan? What do you think about the show?
It's treating us really well. I mean, being here with all the fans out there, it's just amazing. The energy when you walk through the hall is just incredible. You can hear people screaming in the background. It's just such a good energy, and we absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's the first open day for public, and just looking at the floor, you can see that it's full. So the temperature is rising, and I do believe we can say the same about Total War Arena, right? With our Alpha 10 going on, we got a new arrival, Burika with her War Dogs. You can check the game here on Gamescom 2017 at our booth or at your home. If you have access to it. If you don't, no worries, because we just announced closed beta coming on September 1st. So we will open the gates a bit again, and those of you who don't have access to Total War Arena can try again to get a code and jump on the battlefield. And since we're talking about Total War Arena, guys, the topic for today is team play and communications. And I do believe when it comes to TWA, player versus player, online, highly competitive title, providing players with effective and efficient communication tools for them to secure the victory on the battlefield is as important item on the development roadmap as any other. So could you please tell us what at the current stage here on Alpha 10 players can use in order to do that? What they can use to communicate with each other?
Well, so obviously Total War Arena is a team game, 10 versus 10. And if you go out on your own and you don't communicate with your teammates, basically you die. So in our game, it's all about communication and team play. It's a tactics game. Without it, you have a problem. So we actually have more communication tools than most other games. We obviously have chat. Every game has a chat. Our chat is easy to use. It's quite prominent on the screen. We have the ability to automatically tag players in the chat so they get highlighted. And on top of that, we have a ping tool, a contextual ping actually. So it's not just like a ping, but you can choose what you want to ping. You can say, I need artillery support here. I need somebody to support me, defend me. Please attack here. So that's really easy, quick to do. One key, you just click it. You can click on the minimap. You can click in the 3D scene. It appears on the minimap, and in the 3D scene, basically, players cannot miss it. And then we have what we call a illustration tool, but I think it's more known as drawing on the map. So this is actually quite unique in our game. You can take essentially a pen and you can draw not just on the minimap, but also in the 3D map, you can just draw on the ground. So very often you see when players play well together, they will use that drawing tool to make a little circle around a friend's unit and draw an arrow. Go there, you know. You don't need to type, you don't need to say anything. It's just like click, click, draw, go. You know, it's super easy and very efficient tool for communicating.
A really good time for using that tool is actually at the start of the battle. So when you're on the deployment screen, where you pick your starting position, it's really good to let all the other people in your team know what your plans are. And it can be just a simple arrow showing, oh, I'm going left, I'm going right, or I'm defending the middle. So it's so simple, but it's brilliant to let your team know what your intentions are with like a single arrow or like a circle or like a quick drawing, really.
Yeah, I've seen it yesterday during the stage show, and it looks really great. Like, I love the fact how the drawing transfers over the UI so you can see it on the map, because of course before the battle, drawing on the map might still create some difficulties for the players to see, okay, so where is it? So I'm here, it was there on the map.
You can't miss it.
You just cannot miss it. But in terms of other features that you listed, like the chat, do you have any plans in terms of improvement for these items that you have?
Yes, absolutely. So generally the parties and friends and chat is something that is on our roadmap for improvement, because we feel that team play is so important in our game that we want to make it really easy for you to party up with your friends and then to communicate with them. So as I said, we already have a tool that where you can essentially tag people in the chat very easily. It auto-completes their name. We want to improve that so that, for example, it would show a specific notification if you've been tagged in a chat, things like that. And also the ability to more directly interact with other people on the map without necessarily having to type. We have many ideas, limited time, so things will be coming in bit by bit. as we progress, but it's constantly on our radar, and we've received great feedback from our fans on how we could improve that. We take that and we try to improve it as quickly as we can.
Yeah, exactly. And again, as we always do it already during the alpha stages, but particularly now with the closed beta stage launching September 1st, we will be looking at the feedback we get from players and see how they actually use it, what are they looking for, like what are ways for us to improve it, and then we incorporate that into the development roadmap for later updates. And with the game being an online game, being a service, we constantly bring out releases and updates, so there will be more stuff to come over time.
So in terms of the chat, one last item, how happy are you guys with its current presence in terms of the HUD?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
How happy are you guys with the current chat presence in terms of the HUD? Because I do believe it hangs above the units, right? We got the chat box right over there. So from time to time, when we got a lot of messages coming, the stage is really, really loud now.
Yeah.
Because we got a stage show going on. But as the players type in messages and they fill in the screen, it might feel a bit invasive during the battlefield. I do believe it might require a bit of revamping of the HUD currently present. Is it something that you consider?
Obviously, we are constantly revamping, changing the HUD, and the chat is part of that. So one of the things we do a lot is we introduce options for players that they can modify what they see when they want to see it. For example, we have an alternative battle view, which is when you hold down spacebar, you see that view. And that's something you can completely customize so that you can choose what do I want to see on normal view, what do I want to see on the alternative view. And basically, we will introduce more and more features like that, including HUD modifications as we go along. But one of the things we can do also about the chat is simply tweak with the timings. How long does the chat message stay there? When does it appear? When does it disappear? How transparent is it? So that's something we keep working on.
Among all the items listed, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
Because among all the items listed, what did not appear was the voice communication. I'm pretty sure this is something that our players would like to see. Is it something that you can talk about?
I mean, we can definitely talk about it. We can't promise or confirm anything at this point. It's definitely something we are looking into, and we do realize that currently our players in the alpha stages, they are organizing themselves with like using other third-party voice over IP or voice chat systems. So it is definitely something that we are aware of, that we are looking into, but it's nothing we can confirm or tie to a release version at this point.
Yeah. A lot of the clans that have already formed in our game, they have set up their own like Teamspeak servers or Discord channels or whatever, and so players definitely use it, and it's something we would love to support. But as Stefan said, right now is not the case.
Okay, so something that is considered on the table, but not currently, not right now, as there are other items.
So
to take care
it is considered, but it's
sure.
nothing that we can say it will happen at a certain time. So as I said, we're just starting the closed beta. There will be tons of feedback for us to look into and think about what we want to change and how we want to improve the game, and then we see if and when this would fit into there.
Yeah. Closed beta is really a time where we focus on perfecting the game, the core gameplay, and even though communication and tools are obviously super important for core gameplay, voice is something that currently you can get, but you just need to use a third-party tool. So it's not like the super top priority, but it's something that we do consider as very important. So we will get to that for sure.
Okay, so we listed the things that we have. We talked about how are you planning to potentially modify it in the future. How about stuff that is not yet there, but maybe you're tweaking it, testing it within the creative assembly environment, something that will be added later to the game. What pops up from time to time is something that is closely related to the team play itself, which is pinpointing a player on the battlefield and turning his role into like a commander of the commander. So a guy like basically calls the shots for everybody on his team. Is it something that it might be coming to Total War Arena?
So we used to have that, in fact. In the previous alpha stage, we had such a feature where one player was semi-randomly selected as the commander, and they would then be able to either nominate a different commander or put markers on the map. Now, the feature was there. It was never really used, so we felt, okay, we need to go back to the drawing board. If we want to introduce that, we need to do something better, because it just clearly the players didn't feel like it was good enough or useful enough. And that's a kind of a philosophy that we generally have. We don't want to introduce something that is kind of sort of there but not quite right. So we'd rather go back to the drawing board, remove it from the game, rethink it, and then bring it back. So it is definitely something we're looking at and considering, but it's not something we're actively working on at the moment. But there are many things that where you communicate in the game without actually saying anything. For example, again with alternative battle view, and this is completely customizable what you want to see. When you send your unit a command, that command gets drawn on the map as well. So you can see where your allies are going to go, what destinations they've set, and that's the way of communicating. You know, you see, oh, this guy is turning away, he's going to go there. I know he's going to go there. This is a great tool for communication, where the player doesn't actually have to do anything except playing, you know? So we want to basically push that. We want to make sure that players can communicate without necessarily intending to communicate, to make team play simply happen on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what Jan said. This is a level of communication where the game actually, or the UI, the HUD, actually communicates with the player by giving him the information to understand what's currently happening on the battlefield, right? I mean, the very basic one is your minimap. And we will work the minimap that is actually, you can expand it. It's very detailed now. You can zoom into it and like really see and understand what is the position of your allies on the battlefield. So without them actively communicating to you what their position is, you even then you immediately get an idea of what the layout of the battlefield is, how the fight is progressing, and what would be a good opportunity for you to be, or what an opportunity would be to avoid. So the game does this by itself as well, that it just gives you all the information you need to make the right calls and like check where your allies are and what they're doing.
Yeah, for example, recently we improved the way that when the base gets captured, how that gets communicated to the player, because we found that very often people didn't notice that their base was being captured, and people failed to, let's say, type it into chat, like, hey guys, our base is being captured, come back please, you know? So we introduced new audio cues, we improved the way that we show the bar, we have flashing things going off to really hammer home, your base is being captured, you know? And that's something where we simply want to make sure that the game itself communicates with the player in order to get the team to work as one, without necessarily the random group of people that we have there who don't know each other having to, like, you know, form social bonds and communicate. We want the game to help forming these bonds because we know that on an average game those bonds aren't there yet.
There's one more tool I think we need to mention in that regard and that's the friendly fire warning you get from the game, from the UI.
Yes.
Because being a 10v10 multiplayer, like team-based multiplayer game, right? And there is friendly fire in the game. So if you let your archers fire in a direction where a friendly unit is standing, you will hit them as well. And the game tells you that, like with like really flashing colors. The damage numbers are orange. You get an indicator on the HUD, so you really understand when you are dealing friendly fire. So that you know, like, okay, I'm attacking actually a friend now. And sometimes it might be a viable strategy. So generally, it's to be avoided, of course. But if you have like a wavering unit with barely any units left, it's holding off a bigger force, you might actually make the strategic decision to friendly fire your own units, but you hit more of the enemy. But the game will tell you that, and you are aware of what's going on and if you are hitting your friends.
So yeah, when it does get crowdy, it is difficult to avoid situations like that. Jan, you mentioned forming bonds, which is extremely important. And what came to my mind, of course, I'm not a developer, but maybe this is something that you have on the table, is maybe indicating to the player that is selecting a specific commander and showing him with whom he should or she should team up for the greatest benefit. So look, Burika has this and that, you know, she has ambush. Maybe you should team up with this commander on your team right now because it complements his or her skill, you know, on the battlefield. I think that might be pretty cool. Maybe something that you can consider.
It would be very difficult to determine which commander works with which, because it's all very contextual on the map, even on what strategy each player uses. So I think that might be hard. But what we've recently done is, I don't know if that's released yet. No, that's coming very soon. Is a more detailed description of what a commander is good with, how you should use this commander, how you should use this unit, in order to help players to make the right decisions of which commander goes with what units and what would the team expect them to do in a battle. So that's something we've worked on that's going to come in an update very soon. That the front end, before you even pick your commander and your units, in the tooltip you will get a very clear indication of what is this all about, you know, how does this all play together.
This is great, Gentlemen, thank you very much for all the information.
Our pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, it was great, and
well.
thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you very much,
guys.
Total War Arena fans. If you are interested in getting more information on the game itself, just stick with our Facebook page and Twitter page, as there are more streams coming down the road later this week, and we will sit down with Creative Assembly developers again and talk different subjects. Please also follow our official hashtag WargamingGC for everything Total War Arena and Wargaming related. It's not only your access to more information about what is going on here today and later this week, but also your chance to enter a contest where you can win an awesome gaming mouse, a chair, keyboard, and a lot more different stuff. All you gotta do is share the feedback about the game, share a picture from Gamescom, share a picture of the game itself as you participate in Alpha 10, include WargamingGC as a hashtag, and you're basically in. Outside of that, we got a pretty slick Facebook profile picture overlays, heavily Gamescom 2017 inspired. And if you speak German, we got a pretty cool Snapchat account, Wargaming.de, so check that as well. Once again, many thanks for staying with us, and see you on the battlefield. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.